Cinderello. Written by Evan Russell. Illustrated by Alex Lopez. Focus question. How is this story the same as the fairy tale Cinderella? How is it different? There was once a young boy named Mateo who dreamed of becoming a great baseball player. He lived happily with his mother and father in a small, quiet town. His father taught Mateo to pitch a baseball. Mateo wanted to be like his hero, Fernando Valenzuela, a famous pitcher. One day, Mateo's father passed away, and Mateo and his mother were left all alone. Mateo's mother had to work long hours in the local factory. Mateo was often lonely, but he kept his spirits up by playing baseball and practicing his pitching. When the factory owner and Mateo's mother decided to get married, Mateo was overjoyed. The factory owner had twin sons who were 2 years older than Mateo. Mateo was so excited to have 2 new brothers. The twins, Primo and Guapo, were spoiled and mean and greedy, and they decided they didn't like Mateo. Mateo asked them if they wanted to play baseball in the park. "We would never play baseball with a little runt like you," Primo said. "Actually, we'll never play with you at all," added Guapo. Mateo's stepfather often traveled, and Mateo's mother usually went with him. Mateo and the twins stayed at home with the cook. The lazy twins forced Mateo to do all of their chores. "Look at him work while we get to play baseball," cried Guapo happily. "Just like Cinderella," said Primo. Guapo replied, "I know. Let's call him Cinderello." So the twins teased and bullied Mateo, but he put up with it. One day, exciting news spread through town. The coach of the National Little League team was coming to town. He was holding tryouts to find the most talented players. Mateo was thrilled. He knew that his pitching was something special, and he hoped to impress the famous coach. As Mateo practiced his pitch, Primo laughed. "You're too much of a runt to try out. You don't even have a uniform." "Father, please tell him it would be a waste of everyone's time," said Guapo. Their father agreed, and he forbade Mateo from attending the tryouts. Mateo was crushed. He hid under the bleachers the next day, watching the other boys practice. Suddenly, he heard a woman's voice softly calling his name. It was the lady from the taco cart. "How do you know my name?" Mateo asked. "I don't just make tacos," she said. "I am also your fairy godmother." "Why aren't you out there playing?" she asked. Mateo hung his head. "My stepfather won't allow me. Even if he did, I don't have a uniform," he said. She waved her magic spatula, and in an instant, Mateo was transformed. Mateo grinned. "Awesome!" Valenzuela's jersey and cool pink shoes. Now you can attend the tryouts, and no one will recognize you, she said. But you must go home the instant tryouts are over, warned the fairy godmother. Disguised in his uniform, Matteo made his way to the first tryout. The coach told Matteo that he could try pitching, and he quickly struck out every boy. "That's what I call a pitcher," the coach cried. Later that afternoon, the coach put the boys into 2 teams for a game and chose Matteo to pitch. Matteo proceeded to throw a perfect game, and everyone, even the twins, was thrilled. With a superstar like this, surely their team would win the Little League World Series. The instant the game ended, Matteo tried to leave, but the boys and the cheering spectators mobbed him. In the scuffle, Matteo lost one pink shoe. When he finally broke free and fled home, he felt his uniform vanishing into thin air. He looked down to see that he was dressed like an ordinary boy, except with only one ragged shoe. The other foot was bare. The coach was left holding the pink shoe. "I must find that fantastic kid," he said. The next day, the coach went door to door, visiting every home in the town. Wherever he found a boy, he had him try on the pink shoe. It fit no one. Finally, the coach arrived at Matteo's house. The twins almost knocked each other over in a rush to try on the pink shoe. No matter how hard the boys wriggled their toes and pushed, it was still too small. Then, the coach spotted Matteo. "Come here, my boy, and try on this shoe," the coach said. The twins guffawed, but when the shoe slipped on perfectly, they both gasped. "Cinderello!" Matteo looked at the twins and said, "My name is Matteo. Matteo will be our captain, and he will lead us to victory," the coach announced. Turning to the brothers, the coach said, "And you two will be our Towel Boys." Connections. Writing and art. Draw a picture and write your own version of Cinderella. Social studies. Locate Mexico on a map or globe. Describe its location and 3 things you notice about the country to a partner.